Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sue with Home Studying with Sue, and today I'm going to put together some cookies that I'm making for Christmas for gifts. So I'm actually doing molasses cookies right now, and it says it needs 1.5 cups white sugar divided, which means that the 1/2 cup is for later, and it's for rolling the cookies. I'm not going to actually do that part right now. So I'm just going to use 1 cup and 3/4 cup of melted butter. If you didn't know what 3/4 cup of melted butter is, it's 8 tablespoons is 3/4 cup. 1 large egg, 1/4 cup of molasses, 2 cups all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of cloves, and 1/2 teaspoon of ginger. I've got everything but the salt. There's the salt. Sorry about that. Okay, so it says to mix 1 cup of sugar. My beater on my mixer. So it says to do the sugar and the butter. And the 1 egg, and then the molasses. Okay, so now we're going to mix that together. And then it says combine the flour, baking soda, salt, cloves, ginger in a separate bowl, and then add it to the molasses. I'm just going to add it right into the bowl. And then we're going to cover it and let chill for an hour. But I'm not going to cook them for a couple days, so they'll be fine. And when I do go to cook them, we'll want to preheat the oven to 375. And while it's preheating, we want to roll the dough in 1-inch diameter balls and roll the ball into the 1/2 cup of remaining white sugar before placing on an ungreased cookie sheet. And then we will cook for 8 to 10 minutes and then cool on a wire rack. I'm going to go ahead and knock the stuff down off of here. And there we go. We have our first cookie dough done. And I'll be back when I do another one. Okay, so now I'm going to do some peanut butter cookies. It's 1 cup of butter, which is 2 sticks. And we're going to mix the peanut butter, which is 1 cup of peanut butter. I'm using crunchy. And then we want to put the cup of brown sugar and a cup of white sugar. Of course, when you do brown sugar, you always pack it in. You put the I'm not going to cook these right away, but when you do go to cook them, we'll want to flatten them and use a fork with sugar on it to do the crisscross signs. And we'll cook at 350 degrees for approximately 10 minutes. Alright, so I have the butter and peanut butter and sugars all mixed in together. So it's going to be 2 eggs. Knock this down off the side. Okay, and then I have, it takes 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, grade stick 2, and then 1/2 cup. And I also have 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And knock this down again. Get the flour in there. Earlier I made some peanut butter cookie dough with chocolate chips in it. I just added the chocolate chips after I did the rest of the dough. There we have it. I'm going to go ahead and put it in a bowl and put it in the refrigerator so that I can bake it at another time. So I will be back with my next batch of cookies. Okay, so right now I'm going to demonstrate making, it says the best chocolate chip recipe, so hopefully it's good. It takes 1 cup of butter, which is already in there, 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar, 2 eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 2 teaspoons of hot water to dissolve the baking soda in, a half a teaspoon of salt, 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and an optional 1 cup of walnuts. Okay, so first off, I'm going to go ahead and do 2 teaspoons of hot water and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We're just going to let that dissolve in there. I'm going to go ahead and stir it up. I'm going to put the lid on the baking soda because we all love me. Okay, so I already have the 1 cup of butter in the mixer. I'm going to put in 1 cup of brown sugar. Always pack in brown sugar. And then 1 cup of regular sugar. I'm going to go ahead and put the beater on the mixer. I forgot to plug it in. I'm going to lock that and then combine this. And if I was cooking them right away, I would be preheating my oven to 350 degrees, and they will cook for approximately 10 minutes. Okay, so I got my butters and sugars combined. I'm going to go ahead and put in my baking soda. My eggs one at a time. And I didn't put in my half a teaspoon of salt, so I'll do that right now. I need 2 tablespoons of vanilla. I meant to say teaspoons of vanilla. And I'm going to slow this down, so hopefully I don't wear the 3 cups of flour. And of course I wore it. Okay, go ahead and shut that off and lift this up and pull off this dough off of the beater. Get it down off the sides. While I have that up, I'm going to go ahead and just add the little bit of flour that's left. Now it's going to ask for 2 cups of chocolate chip. This is a 2-cup measurer. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take this off of here. Take the beater off. Go ahead and scrape it off more. And all right, so I'm just going to stir this together before I put it in a bowl to store until I'm ready to cook them. All right, so I'm just going to put them in a bowl and get them ready to put in the refrigerator. All right, so now I'm going to make some butterscotch cookies. And I'm going to use the same recipe that I used for the best chocolate chips. So I got 1 cup of butter in here. I need 1 cup of sugar. 1 cup of brown sugar. Remember to always pack in your brown sugar. I'm going to go ahead and put my beater on. I did not rinse this out because I'm using the same ingredients and there's no chocolate left in here, so it's not going to hurt anything. I can get the stupid thing on. Okay. Lock it down. I'm going to put a little bit of hot water in this coffee cup. And I need 2 teaspoons of hot water. 1, 2, and a teaspoon of baking soda. I'm going to go ahead and let that dissolve in there. I'm going to go ahead and add the eggs one at a time. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Sure glad I had the extra vanilla. I'm going to add the half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to go ahead and do the 3 cups of flour. Forgot to put the baking soda in, so I'm going to do that right now. Shut this off for a second and get some of this dough off of the beater. Go ahead and scrape this down in. assuming this is probably 2 cups of chocolate or of butterscotch chips. So I'm just going to put the whole thing in there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lift this up, pull all the cookie dough off. Then I will go ahead and put it in a container for the refrigerator. And then we will do one more regular batch of cookies, and then we're going to do a couple gluten-free batches of cookies. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off, and I'll be back with the next one. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to make gluten-free peanut butter cookies. So I'm going to go ahead and beat this butter up a little bit. I'm going to do 1 cup of packed brown sugar. One cup of regular sugar. I made sure that all of my devices were clean before I started this because of the gluten of the cookies that we made before. Alright, so next we are going to add in the eggs one at a time. And we're going to do 1½ teaspoons of baking soda. This is a ½ teaspoon, so it's going to be 3. We're going to do 1 tablespoon of baking powder. And a ½ teaspoon of salt. And I forgot to get the peanut butter ready, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put the peanut butter in there. 1 cup. Using crunchy. Okay. We're going to go ahead and stir that together. If I was going to go ahead and cook these today, I would preheat the oven to 350 degrees and we bake them for 10 minutes. We're also going to use a little bit of sugar to make crosses in them, just like you do regular peanut butter cookies. I'm going to turn this down because apparently wants to throw it. And this is 2.5 cups of 1-to-1 red meal baking flour, and it's gluten-free. I'm going to go ahead and stop this and move some of this off of the beater. Get this off the beater again. Go ahead and pour the rest of this in here. Hopefully it doesn't fly up and hit me in the face. Alright, so that's what the peanut butter cookies are like. Remember, they're gluten-free. I'm going to go ahead and put them in a bowl, and then I have one more thing of cookies to make, and that's it for the cookies this year. Which is good because it's a lot of cookies to cook yet, or bake yet. So, I'm going to get this all cleaned up and rinsed out. I don't have to actually wash it because we're not using regular flour for the next one either. And then it's going to be sugar-free molasses cookies. So, I'm going to go ahead and be right back. Alright, so this time we are doing some molasses gluten-free cookies, and it asks for 1.5 cups white sugar, but I'm actually not going to bake them right now, so I'm just going to use 1 cup. So 1/2 cup measure. Alright, and then it asks for 3/4 cup of melted butter, which is 8 tablespoons, if you didn't know that. I didn't know that until yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in. And we're going to do the egg. And then it asks for we're going to do the molasses. And this is a fourth of a cup of molasses, and hopefully it comes out better than it did yesterday when I did this. I sprayed the measuring cup with cooking spray. Oh, much better. Alright, so we're going to do teaspoons of baking soda. This is a 1 teaspoon. Going to do 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. If I was baking these today, I would go ahead and do the other half a cup of sugar. When we roll them into balls, we'll put the sugar on the outside. And then we would preheat the oven for to 375. And then we would bake them for 8 to 10 minutes. My next thing I'm putting in is a half a teaspoon of salt. And half a teaspoon of cloves. Half a teaspoon of ground ginger. Then we're going to put in our flour, which is 2 cups of red mill 1-to-1 gluten-free baking powder, flour. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put them in the same bowl as the peanut butter cookies. Hopefully they don't fade over onto the peanut butter cookies too bad. And I hope you have enjoyed these tortilla showings of me making cookie dough. If you have, please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching. Merry Christmas.